Hi.
Hi, welcome to JacksTreasures.
I'm Tracy.
I'm Brian.
And we are JacksTreasures.
We are.
Jack is the cat.
That's Jack.
Yes.
Today we are answering questions about reselling that are pertinent to the reselling community.
And we're so excited that one of our followers has decided to ask a question. So we wanted to make sure that we answered that. Big shout out to Cajun Reseller, aka Chris. Thank you for your question.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for your question, Chris. We definitely appreciate it, and your view, and your thumbs up, and all of that stuff. So, what was the question?
The question is, what is our favorite thing to sell on eBay? Now, I'm gonna preface this by saying that we have 2 eBay accounts. We each have our own eBay account, which is weird because we share a Whatnot account. So you would think we would share an eBay. No.
I actually have a Whatnot account, but I don't sell on it.
So do I actually. But anyway, we eBay, we both started doing that long before we were together. I've been on eBay since 1997 or 98. It was right there at the end of that year. So I'm not 100% sure of the year. I actually lost that first account in a divorce. So that account no longer exists, but I have been on eBay since that time, and he's been on eBay since when?
I've been on eBay for the last 16 years. Yep. So, and I started out on eBay while I was a teacher, and I just needed to make some extra money because I had gotten a divorce, and money had gotten extremely, extremely tough. Because if anybody out there is a teacher, you know that teachers get paid once a month. And that's very, very difficult, especially for somebody like me who's not very budget friendly or anything like that. So I would get paid once a month and I'd be fine for 2 weeks. And then after that, I wasn't fine. So I had to do something. So I ended up going to eBay, and what I did was I sold off a lot of the items that I had accumulated in my 15 years of marriage before that. So, but go back to what she likes to sell.
Saying
we should actually probably say what we do here.
What do we do?
We are answering questions. This is our channel that we get questions and we talk about stuff that is reselling. I don't know if we did that before, so we might edit this part out. I don't know, because she doesn't like to do editing.
So you're just getting it again. But yes, we're answering questions today.
Yeah.
And this question was from Cajun Reseller. He asked, what is our favorite thing to sell on eBay? And as I was saying, we have separate accounts, so we're going to give you 2 answers. Brian, you first.
You want me to go first?
Yes.
Well, believe it or not, one of my most favorite things that I like to sell on eBay is video game manuals. And I know that you're probably shaking your head right now going, what? First off, you could even sell those and make money. Yeah, it depends on your buying cost and how much you pay for the things. But I like selling those mainly, I guess, for just more nostalgic reasons. We're a large purchasers of items, and we get a lot of items in storage units, and we get a lot of items in stores, yard selling, and we would get. I would go to yard sales and I would buy like bulk things of video games, and inevitably 2 or 3 of the cases would be empty. And so I started to just list the manuals. I wasn't making a tremendous amount of money, but they were super easy to ship. And I loved selling them for some reason. I mean, I don't know why. It's just one of those things where I know that the person that's buying them is buying them to complete a video game. Like, he's got the disc and the artwork in the case, and he doesn't have the manual, and he wants the manual. And now they don't do manuals in video games, so it's more nostalgic thing, and I'm older and more
and I will say some of them actually do sell for good money. You have had some that have sold for tons of money.
Yeah, I think probably the most expensive one I sold for around $50 to $70
just for a manual.
Just for the manual and stuff. But what's the saying that was coined, I guess, by Kevin, the Commonwealth picker? When in doubt,
part it out.
Part it out. And with video games, that's a big thing. I mean, I could take a video game, and the video game being complete, or CIB, wouldn't sell for very much. But I take the manual out and I sell it separate, and then I sell the disc on either another platform where I sell them separate. and I make more money that way. And it's easy to ship. It's just so super easy to ship. So that is my favorite thing to do. But I like paper things. Tracy reads books on tablets and things like that. I read books in my hand. So I guess that's one of the reasons why I love selling video game manuals.
And it's funny because my favorite thing to sell is actually similar but different. I like selling role-playing books, like
for a different reason.
Dungeons and Dragons, GURPS, White Wolf, Paladin. I mean, there's just hundreds of them. A lot of the newer ones that I don't even know as well. My main reason for that is, number one, I just love fantasy and as general. I mean, you slap a dragon on something, I love it. Yes.
I slapped a dragon on my arm just so that she would keep loving me.
But I actually got started selling those years ago when my daughter was tiny. When she was young, she had some issues that required her being in doctors and therapists and stuff a lot. So I wasn't able to hold down a job when she was young. I was full-time mom mode. But I sold on eBay. And at the same time, I couldn't go out and do the yard selling thing, the storage units like I do now, because I was very busy. I realized that I could buy lots of fantasy books, role-playing books, and things off of eBay, part them out, take out the individual titles, and sell them back on eBay. And at that time, I was making good money, completely flipping from eBay to eBay. Now, around 2010, I think, is when the market kind of caught up, and I think other people really figured that out, and those lots go up to almost the value. I mean, you could still do it, but the value's not there as much, and there's not near as many of the lots available as there were. So I can't really do that full time anymore, but I still love them.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for those when we're at yard sales. I'm looking for those in storage units. I'm looking for those at retail stores and things like that. So
which is a great point to what she said. And the question being, what is your favorite thing to sell on eBay? As a reseller, resellers tend to gravitate towards the things that they like to sell.
Right.
And it prevents a death pile when you buy stuff that you want to sell. Because if you buy stuff and you comp in something out, like I comp out this doll right here, okay? And I said, this doll is like $1,000, or I don't know, let's make it about $200. Just say it's a $200 doll. It's not a $200, but say it's a $200 doll, okay? And then I get a video game right here, and I love to sell a video game, and it's $3, okay? Well, I'm going to list this because, one, it's an easy listing for me, and I'm really lazy, and it goes up, really, really fast. The doll goes onto the death pile and gets passed over and passed over and passed over because I don't want to list it. So it creates a death pile when you are buying stuff and comping it, but you just don't want to list it.
Right.
You list stuff that you want to list. So is that good or bad? Well, it's bad, because there's a saying that says nickel's holding up a dollar, and in that case, nickel is holding up a dollar. I'm listing something for a nickel when I could be listing something else that's going to make me $1, and that's a bad thing, but it's something that's my favorite. And because of it being my favorite, I want to do that as my favorite thing. So having a favorite thing is really, really good and really, really bad. When we go to yard sales, Tracy and I get out of the car and we go just like that. We go in two separate things. Tracy goes and she looks at certain areas, and I go and I look for video games. And I'm looking right over for the video games things and stuff. And I'm passing over, glassware that I can sell for, $400 or $500. Case in point, we were at a yard sale, and they had some DVDs and some video games, and I was over the DVDs, and I made a deal on the video games, and I walked right past all of this glass work in this case that looks like salt and pepper shakers, and I walk all the way over to the video games that are like over there, and they're selling them to me at a great deal. And Tracy walks over to the case and sees these items after she went to the area that she wanted to go to first. These things were Nora Fleming's, okay? Now, I didn't know Nora Fleming from, nothing. I didn't know anything about them. Tracy didn't know anything about them either. But it's a plate, and it's a serving plate, and it's got a little hole in the plate, and it's got these little figures that go into the hole there's a little stem on it. It goes into the hole, and it adds a decorative portion to the plate. And they have all of these different figures. They have like a Santa Claus, a Christmas tree, a ghost, a snowman, a sombrero, and an umbrella, and all of these things. And the woman says, "Oh, I want $25 for this." And Tracy had already looked it up and everything like that. And I'm over there making a deal for these video games, thinking, I'm doing great, man. I'm getting these video games for $1, and I'm going to sell them for $3 or $2. Woohoo! And she's over there and gets this. She gets them, and we're walking back to the car. And we actually have a video on this too. She goes, I looked at a couple of these things, and I think we got one of these that's worth about $300. And I'm like, oh, that's great. That's great. It's great. So we get home, and she starts doing more research on them. Guys, she had one that was $1,500. One figure. I
mean, shout out to you, Nora Fleming fans. Thank you. You paid our mortgage that month.
Yes. And probably for the next 3 months, because I think the cheapest one that she found might have been about $18. Okay. Yeah. Might have been $18. Her average on those, I guarantee you her average on those is somewhere in the 600 range, because she
probably
had
100 or 200, because there were a lot of the lower 20 and 25 in there, but I'd say the average wound up being about 100 or 200.
About $200. So I was even, but she would always tell me, she goes, I just sold another Nora Fleming for $850. I sold another Nora Fleming for $600. I sold a Nora Fleming for $100.
We walked
right past
in,
it.
I think, August, and I have one left, and it's up for $350.
Yeah. But I was happy. I made a deal to make, $2 on video games, and Tracy made a deal to make about $3,000.
But I also, glassware is not my favorite. Still,
No.
It's still not, but I just, there
and we don't go to it because it's
there
not our
wasn't
favorite.
anything there at the yard sale that really tickled my fancy, because outside of the role-playing books, I do sell a lot of toys, so I look for toys. I do some jewelry, things like that. There was nothing that interested me, so I'm just poking around. I was like, that's interesting. And
yeah, and there were three of these boxes, and they look like watch boxes, so they had little 9 compartments in them, and they look like and the pieces that were in the inside, I swear to you, they look like salt and pepper shakers. Because I know one of them was a mustard and a ketchup or something like that. So I was like, oh, they're salt and pepper shakers. I don't want to deal with those. And she comes over after I paid for all of it. And she goes, just going back to the car, giddy over this thing that she thinks is $300. Okay. And when I tell you, you might be sitting there thinking, oh, it's probably going to sit on your shelf. We listed it on one night
expensive one,
for $15.95. I don't remember what she did it for. We got an offer that night for $12.50. That night.
And then I got another offer in the morning for $12.75, and I wound up taking that offer because the person had great ratings and they seemed legit. So having your favorite is great, but a lot of people will answer that saying, well, my favorite is whatever makes me the most money. And that's true, but that's also not an accurate statement, because everybody, I think, has their favorite things that they like to list because they don't have it in their death pile. I made more money on glassware than anything, but it is not my favorite. I still like to list my Dungeons and Dragons books for $20 each.
Yeah, and I like listing my video games.
The cats are going crazy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I like listing my video game manuals for $2-3, and they sit, and I'll sell probably 2 or 3 of them a month. But there's something that is really, really enjoyable, and we like doing those. So keep those comments coming in.
Drop your favorite thing to sell on eBay or your platform of choice in the chat, and ask us a question. We'll answer it.
Yeah, we definitely will answer it. We enjoy those. I'm sorry that the lighting is bad. I forgot to turn the light on. That's right behind the camera. So I could probably do that now.
Oh, we can see the difference.
Yeah.
Much brighter.
Yeah. I think that's a little bit brighter right there. But we're not the best YouTubers in the world.
And once again, like, share, and subscribe, and spend more time at JacksTreasures, the professional reselling channel.
Who? Who? Who did
We're
you
not
say?
professional. JacksTreasures.
Professional what?
Reselling channel.
Who?
Us.
No.
No. Not at all.
No, we're not, guys. Thanks. Peace out, everybody.